Coach, tell us about sports psychology and how we can apply it in our life and training and the mental part, the physical part.
I don't want to talk about sports psychology. It's a huge, wide subject. But I will say that whether you're an athlete or not, the mental side of training is probably 75 to 80%. And in some instances, it could be even 90% of, 75 to 80 and up to 90% of the effort that you need. It's some of the times people think it's physical effort. No, sometimes it's mental effort. The physical aspect of it, I'll take you for example. When I was playing any sport that I played, or whether even it was in the gym, you're doing exercises, and after a while, your body gets accustomed to the exercises, and we call that getting in shape, right? So once you're in shape, and let's say if it's running, or if it's football, or basketball, boxing, whatever the sport is, the coach at that time, once you're in shape, somewhat shape, he's gonna push your mental limitations. For example, when you get fatigued, the first thing that happens when you get extremely fatigued in any exercise is lack of blood and oxygen to the brain. So an athlete, when he's in these scenarios, if they're not trained to fight the mental battle, that's when the people give up. And it's the same if a non-athlete. You'll see guys, they'll come in the first week, the body, when they're trying to get in shape, their body is all in pain and sore and stuff like that. At that point, it's a mental battle because they can still move, they can still walk, but they don't want to feel that pain. So you need a coach that either minimizes the pain or gives you encouragement or explains to you from a physiological aspect what's happening to your body and why you need to, we'll adjust the workout, but you need to push through this moment. And what you do, what happens is when you go through that process with a good coach, whether it's, an athlete or not, what you find is that you get stronger mentally. You're mentally more stronger. You have more mental fortitude by pushing. Another thing is, I'll say, is from a psychological aspect, is making achievable goals, not making your goals too high and too lofty, not making them too easy, but achievable goals. Well, because what that does to the brain is that it reinforces the actions that you've been doing. It reinforces it. Oh, now the mind, even though the body went through it, the mind says, aha, I can't do it. So you need to have achievable goals. Also, when an athlete or a non-athlete goes to the coach, the biggest obstacle is the brain. It's your mind. You're going to always try to think that you know better, or maybe you know that he knows better, but because the training is so hard and you're so tired, you think the coach doesn't understand that you're that tired. And so then you will challenge. You'll you'll shut down, you won't go as hard as you could, or you might even challenge the coach. Or you might say, oh, I don't want to do that exercise because it hurts. You know what I mean? These are all of these kind of mental pitfalls. It's the biggest thing for an athlete and a non-athlete, especially when you're first getting together with a coach, is those mental pitfalls. It's really in the mind is what's stopping you from growing. But I believe sincerity trumps everything. If you're sincere, whether you're an athlete or not, and you have a good coach, you just trust in your coach. And your coach is going to take you to places that you never thought you could go. And then what's also going to happen, what happens a lot, is you're going to go farther than the coach even expected. When you really are sincere, that's what happens. You do things. Sometimes I can look at videotape of me playing football, And I'm like, how did I do that?
SubhanAllah.
I'm like, how do I do that? I don't know how to do that. And that's my personification of what my coaches taught me. They got me in shape. They taught me fundamentals. Now the rest is up to me.
Right, right.
So then what happens is sometimes when you really, really let yourself go, just amazing things come out. Before I close, another one is determination, being driven. Some guys will see that they have a limitation. Like me, I was always short. So what they do is, because they have a limitation, they try to accentuate their strengths. They try to make whatever they have that's good, try to make it really, really good. And that takes a certain level of mental fortitude. Understanding, yes, I'm a short guy. So how can I still play this sport, being a short guy, but being effective? It takes some humbleness to say, hey, I'm not 6 foot. You got to be humble with it. You got to accept reality. These are all mental challenges. You have to accept reality. Then you have to say, hey, what's my goal? Well, I'm fast, I want to be faster. I'm strong, I want to be stronger. I'm smart, I want to be smarter. So then again, it takes that will, that determination. And then if you have a teacher or a coach that's mentoring you, again, you can go really, really far. That's what I'll say about sports psychology. And another time we could get into some specific aspects of sports psychology, like one that just comes straight to my mind, that I studied is getting in the zone. And I'm gonna be honest, as an athlete, I've only been in a zone a few times, but I'll tell you what, your best of your champions, they floated in the zone all the time. They knew how to turn on and stay on, and when you're in the zone, everything just comes out almost perfect. I don't want to say perfect, but almost perfect. You can see everything. Your timing is right. Your speed, your power, your explosion, everything is just right on par. And you do it effortlessly. You're not tired. You don't feel fatigued. You feel strong. This is called the zone. Another one we'll say, which is a chemical released from jogging, which is called runner's high. Now, I've felt this many times. And that's when you get in the zone. Also, it's the zone still. And that's when you get into this rhythm in your breathing, in your stride, your body is relaxed, and you start to jog effortlessly. And you don't feel anything. And you could just run and run and run and run. And this is called runner's high. These are the two examples that I think maybe in another show we could just talk about sports psychology. Let's say some key aspects that people that could focus on to try to turn on certain things in your mind, try to make some connection between your mind and your body by repetitive action and by mindset and training your mind to think a certain way. I think that at the college level, more so than the professional level, college coaches are probably some of the best motivators and mind manipulators, more so than a car salesman. The car salesman is like almost like a con. Man, you can actually smell the con. But a coach can lead a group of men to war and make them fight that war without thinking about getting injured. That takes a certain type of mind to unlock all those minds and get those guys moving in one direction. You know what I mean? I believe college coaches I know I can mention right now, I hope I remember to get this picture so he can pop the picture in. But hey man, there's times when John L. Smith used to speak before the games and it would have my insides boiling. Sometimes I would even go and cry. It got me to that moment where I was just like ready to knock somebody out, and I was a running back. But I was just, that was one coach. And also the current head coach of U of I, Paul Petrino, he's another one. Paul Petrino would take me to the side. He was a guy that you would be on the game, come out of the game, and he would have the right word to say to you to get you right back on track. You know, and those are things that I would want to talk about in the future, and I blabbled, but in the future we'll get to those other deeper subjects about sports psychology.
Is it like this came from the coach, or what it's about, you know, having the right group of people and the right coach to push them beyond their limits? Or is it only the coach and he can manipulate your mind and your limitation and how you think, so you can be like a war machine, you know, in the field, in the sport, in the gym, whatever, you know?
I don't think it's the right group of people, but I do believe it's the right coach. Because there's coaches that I had that were really great coaches, but they couldn't get that out of me. I had a coach that was kind of like, you know how CT Fletcher always teases the fitness industry, those MC Square people, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a beautiful guy. He was a nice man. You know, he had a great personality. He was a good coach, but he had me thinking on the field all the time. You know, he had me thinking about every single little thing. You know, there's a boxing coach, a pro boxing coach. I won't say his name because I have so much respect for him. And I think he's an excellent boxing coach. I think just with certain fighters, he's like that, my scenario. I feel like I've seen him get with certain fighters, and that guy's just thinking in the ring. He's not letting the fight game flow out of him. Boxing is about rhythm and timing. And if you're sitting there thinking about every single little meticulous thing, you're going to be off. And that's how I played when I was under that coach. I had good games and bad games, but I know one thing, he had me thinking way too much. Whereas Petrino, when he was my running back coach, Petrino was a really in-your-face type of coach. I wanted perfect or near perfect. Okay?
Wow.
And if it's not, look, we were running backs. We didn't even catch the ball. You drop a ball, you got 5 sprints after the practice. You fumble, maybe 10, maybe 15. Okay? What did that do, though? It made you focus on the running quarterback. He taught me how, not me, all the running backs. Hey, man, you're going to deliver a blow. You're going to make them pay for when you tackle. And he was a guy also that gave me a lot of warrior spirit. Then he did that to me in the gym. And as he was the running back coach, John L. Smith was the head coach. So then you had the great motivator to back him all up. So then you had a team of these great coaches. So I don't, it's not the right people, because when you get to college, people come from all walks of life. You got guys that are super smart. You got guys that, you know, because they're a good athlete, they passed through. They weren't good students. You had guys that came from messed up homes, guys that were involved in gangs and drugs and stuff like that. And we all get on this one team. So you can't, as a coach, you can't pick the athletes. You can't pick the athletes. Your job is to shape and mold that athlete.
What about quit bottoms? Quit bottoms. If you have like a quit on you, does the coach will
you mean the ability to quit?
yeah.
Right.
Does he gonna fix that, or depends on the same person? Because I believe even if you have like a Superman coach, or you know, a super special coach that he will push you every time, and you have this
Quit button, yeah.
Button.
Tap out button.
Yeah,
quit button. Yeah, I get you now.
Yeah. It's not gonna be there.
You know, in competitive sports, because that's basically what we're talking about now, is competitive sports. We're not talking about the average guy in the gym. So, in competitive sports, if you have the quit button in you, you're not going to make it. Unless you're just one of those guys that are just super highly talented. But eventually, You're going to meet your match. Your talent is going to run out. And it's going to be, what are you made of? What are you really made of? You know what I mean? So, back to the competitive aspect, just imagine in certain, like in California or in Texas, where high school football is like almost religion, okay? In certain towns and cities, high school football is like religion, man. They show that on TV, okay? Yes! You know, the championship game might be pay-per-view. Yeah. Come on, man. You might get 100 guys try out for freshman team, junior varsity, and varsity. You got 3 teams. Over 100 guys show up. And everybody doesn't make the team. If you got the quit button, you're not going to make the team. Let's say you're highly talented, you make the team. And there's a guy that's, let's say, he's average or above average, but he's a beast. And here you are, way off the chart in the elite zone, but you got the quit button. Your talent is going to run out eventually. Just like in boxing, and then you take it to combat sports. Oh, somebody's going to bring it out. You can't knock everybody out.
Right.
You can't knock everybody out. Somebody is going to be not going to be afraid to get knocked out and is going to come right at you, and we're going to see what you're made of. Okay, I'm not talking about getting clipped. Anybody can get clipped and get knocked out. Okay, I'm not talking about that. But can you take the pressure? Or are you going to fold with pressure? I hate to do this, but we can take an icon, Mike Tyson. Every time he was faced with pressure, he lost. Let's keep it real.
But that wasn't in his late career.
Look,
even though an athlete is always
a person is a person. Mike Tyson has never been knocked out asleep. Look at some of those knockouts. He just quit. He had the quit button in him. This is what we're talking about.
You know, I watch the interview.
Did you ever see? No. I'm going to give you an example especially for the audience. We've never seen Holyfield quit.
No way. Holyfield is a beast, man.
Okay. Bernard Hopkins had to get knocked out of the ring. We've never seen Floyd Mayweather quit. Let's keep going. Muhammad Ali, all the boxing icons. Have we ever seen any of those guys quit? Roberto Duran, no mas against Sugar Ray Leonard.
No mas.
Out of frustration. That's a one-time thing. But in general, champions don't quit. They don't have a quit button. And I'm not saying Mike Tyson is not a champion. He was a champion. He earned that. He earned that right. But I'm saying is when he was put under the ultimate pressure, he lost 5 times. Okay? And that's not to knock Mike Tyson. It's a good example to see, for people to see what it looks like in human form when you have the quit button in you.
You know, as an audience and fans, we cannot give him an excuse, you know, for his manipulated life and what he was dealing with in the mental part, you know,
Sure.
that a lot of cases being put on him, he been to jail, you know, a lot of shit that happened to him, you know, and it's not easy for a person to recover from that. You know, and he had those the five losses was in his late career. You know, even though a lot of fans they say we want to see Mike Tyson against these champions nowadays. You know?
Well, Mike Tyson, he wasn't in his prime when he fought Buster Douglas. Okay, he didn't necessarily quit in that specific fight, but he quit as a fighter. What do I mean by that? If you know the story behind the story, he didn't train for the fight.
Yeah. Even he was.
That's a quitter.
He was.
That's a quitter.
Right.
Okay? That is the tap out, because your training is going to determine how you perform.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah. Okay? His fight against The British guy, I can't think of his name right now, quit. Brian, the guy from Holland, the big guy. I can't think of his name right now. He quit in that fight. The Holyfield fight, yes, Holyfield was headbutting him. It was illegal. But him biting his ear, he didn't have an answer for. So you're gonna say, oh, because he wasn't in his prime, that he couldn't use the good jab that he had in the past? I see Mike Tyson is a good case study from a person who never conquered his personal demons. And yes, when he had Customato and he was under Jimmy Jacobs and he had Kevin Rooney as a trainer after Customato passed away, he was the best guy. That was the best Mike Tyson. And we give him all the credit. But his demons determined the rest of his career. I'll give you another example of a champion who was in the same category, Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner is the same guy, same kind of guy. He's a guy who will always come just short because of his personal life, his inner that jihad and nafs. That you got to conquer it because, see, contact sports, when you get in the ring or get on the football field with some beasts, the real you is going to come out.
I know the feeling.
The real you is going to come out.
Yeah.
And you can't hide from it.
Right.
And see, that's the thing about boxing and MMA and kickboxing, Muay Thai. When you get hurt, when you're hurt and tired, that's when you're going to see what you're made of, man. I'm not talking about a guy dropping his hand and getting clipped. No. I'm talking about the will to win. The will to not be denied. You're going to have to pull me off this field or this ring or this octagon in a stretcher.
I'm going to die in the ring.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not looking for a way out. Oh, he's better than me. He's better than me, so I'm just going to take an ass whipping for 12 rounds. No. I'm a Ross Pure to you, and I'm going to walk your ass down and take everything you got, and when you get tired, I'm going to knock you out. I want to see what you made of. As great as Mike Tyson was, we never saw him, a top-tier heavyweight, just walk him down 12 rounds or something like that. He has some great 12-round fights, don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying those Holyfield type guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Lennox Lewis caught Mike Tyson when he was an addict. Okay? But again, that's a form of tapping out. If you're up here, you're an elite fighter, it means that your circle is corrupt, the people around you is corrupt.
Absolutely.
Because they allowed you to get that way. But it's your form of being a quitter. It's just, I'm going in there to get a paycheck, man. I'm not going in there to win. Because I'm not living the lifestyle that it takes to win.
Wow.
Come on. You gotta live a lifestyle. If you're the champion, you gotta live like a champion.
You cannot just, show up one
night.
No,
you're not gonna just show up and do a 12-week camp and think you're just gonna knock everybody out in 2 or 3 rounds. It's not gonna happen. Some people is trained. They know you're gonna knock him out. They done looked at your style. They done really studied it. Okay, so when he doing that, he's gonna do a leaping left hook, and they come back with a right uppercut. Okay, I know that if I keep the jab on him at this time in his career, he's gonna move his head for the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then he's gonna get tired. So then I can start dropping right hands. So I get him to jab, I'll jab, let him lean on the other side, and bang! That's what Lennox Lewis did. Watch him. Jab, lean on the side, bang, right hand. All night. And Mike Tyson didn't get, that's Mike Tyson's credit, steel chin. Maybe the best chin in boxing. Never went to sleep.
Right.
But that's my opinion about, Mike Tyson, and then, I have a lot of respect for him, but I'm just saying Adrian Broner and Mike Tyson are good case studies for this tap out or quit button where you just don't give your all. You got all the way here. I mean, Adrian Broner is a four different weight classes, champion 4 different weight classes. You got all the way there and couldn't live like a king and be the champion and stand on the top of the mountain and say, I'm the king of the world? It's a form of tap out. It's not necessarily quitting in the ring. He's gonna mentally in his conscious mind think he's giving his best effort. But he can't. The best effort isn't there. And you can get a coach to get you in shape. How does he get you in mental shape? How does he get you in shape here? See? All you got to do is watch the Pacquiao fight. Go watch it. Does it look like a person who wants to win the fight? Or not? No, it doesn't look like a guy who wants to win the fight. It doesn't look like a guy who wants to. It's a guy who was happy to be in the fight. I see. I fought Pacquiao.
So, Coach, for the audience and fans who are watching you, can you tell us about your field, your specialty, what you can train and what you can do for the people in terms of training, life coaching?
Well, I can say that I can train like the general basics of bodybuilding, just knowing how to use all the common machines in the gym and knowing how to generally work your body, every muscle group. And aside from that, I do people who want to lose weight. So I do diet consulting and nutrition consulting, and I have workout programs for people who are trying to lose weight. I have workout programs for people who want to lose weight and build muscle. I have tons of stuff for athletes, all different types of sports. And that's the strength and conditioning side of me in terms of getting an athlete prepared for competition, and that's physically and mentally ready for competition. Of course, I got tons of football programs. Somebody who wants to get bigger, stronger, and faster. I got those programs. I have track and field, run mechanics, teach people how to run more efficiently, how to sprint more efficiently, how to break down different aspects of the sprint races.
What about powerlifting and Olympics lift?
I'm not going to say that I'm a good coach for Olympic style lifting, although I did learn it. I did learn all the correct techniques. I did all of the lifts and was tested on them, but it's not something that I really want to coach. I like to take different aspects. There's different aspects of Olympic style lifting that you can incorporate in the gym. I like to do that, but just to be like coach that, like how they're doing in CrossFit. I'm not really interested in that. It's also very dangerous. I'm not a CrossFit coach, but if you look into CrossFit, there's a lot of serious injuries because of those Olympic style lifts in the format that they're doing it in CrossFit. I know that's not the answer, but I'm just saying that's part of the reason why I don't want to get into that. I don't want people to get injured. It's not easy to master those techniques. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a coach that really knows what they're doing. I come from a generation where whoever you learned it from, they were doing it for years. Nowadays, you might have somebody that just
with the certificate,
maybe not even a certificate. He just start doing it, But yeah, Olympic style lifting, boxing. I don't claim to be the best boxing coach, but I was taught boxing, and that's different. So I have a lot of the core fundamentals, and one thing that I focused on particularly is the fight strategy. and that's something I believe that I'm really good at. Although I don't have a lot of fighters on my resume, that's something that I can coach.
What about kids and women?
Of course, I mean I can create programs for kids programs, family programs, ladies programs. Of course, it's available for anybody.
Specifically, what about pregnant women?
Pregnant women, yeah, I know some very beneficial exercises. Actually, just on that note, women that are pregnant, well, women in general, whether you're pregnant or not, you need to be having some kind of physical activity, walking or doing, different exercises in the home or whatever you have available to you. But if you do get pregnant, you definitely need to move around and get, blood circulating, and a lot of women suffer from varicose veins when they get pregnant. Those veins that come on their legs and stuff like that, and that's just due to poor circulation and not moving around. And some women that do move around get it, but I know that if you exercise, it helps.
So, coach, what about liposuction?
I think liposuction. If a person is doing it just for cosmetic reasons, if it's not like a serious health issue where you need to do it, I think it's not worth it because there's just so many physical complications that might happen. And I just think it's, unfortunately, people are just lazy. They don't want to work out and they want to eat whatever they want to eat. But that just means, though, even if you do the liposuction and you got the shape, what's happening on the inside?
Whoa.
And that's inside, I mean, from your organs, because you're not living a clean life, eating clean, but also inside spiritually. Because if you're not willing to change your eating habits to be a healthier person, but you're only willing to fix the shell, the outer appearance, that means there's something lacking inside.
What about the mental part and the psychological part?
That's it. That is the mental part. Because there's something lacking inside. If I'm only concerned with my outer self and not my inner self, when I mean my inner self being at peace with myself, being at peace, balanced, grounded, sane, how can I actually even, after me studying how important it is to eat nutrient-based diet and eat a nutrient-based diet, your thought process is not even clear. Your thought process is not even clear. So it's really sad that people are using this as an option.
These doctors for cosmetic, man, they are evil, man. They advertise for it and, change your life. It's not actually change your life. It's like destroy your life. I don't care about the results,
They play on the fact that a lot of people feel their self-worth through outside acceptance. So if I feel attractive and then someone outside confirms it, I feel good about myself. Whereas I think if you wake up, you thank Allah that you woke up and you get in the mirror and you say, MashaAllah, I thank God for being alive and smelling the air and seeing and breathing, being able to blink my eye. You see, we have so many things that we take for granted.
Blessings.
Yes. So many things we take for granted that the person who's in this state, when they wake up, they're like, another day. And it's all negative. And I think a lot of people who are into that, they're seeking comfort. But I personally believe they never really get it. I think some of the people, they realize that, but it's the new me now. So I'm gonna act the act.
I mean, just waking up every day and expect that something gonna change and pop out, once you wake up in the morning, whatever factor in your life, not you doing it to yourself, like for example, I'll sleep and I woke up and I hope this problem just disappeared in my life and my life become normal again.
No.
In many aspects in life,
I think, and you said it well enough, things aren't going to change by themselves. Things don't just drop out of the sky. And if they do, sometimes it's maybe just to test how sincere you are, how good of a person you really are. But in general, if you want change, you got to work for it.
Okay, coach. What about a lot of women that artificial birth and they got cut in the stomach?
What do you mean artificial birth?
They're not giving
Natural
birth,
Okay.
and they have a difficulty to train. They're afraid to train or doing any activities. Due to have any stress in the area that they did the surgery or the.
Yes, it's true that, when the woman has cesarean section, I think they cut through about 7 different layers of muscle, and it takes time for that to heal. But once it does heal, she can start doing exercise again. I know back home, several women that, there's even athletes that are, I'm sure there's an athlete or two out there that's had a cesarean section and went back to continue their sport. So it's a misconception that after you have and it's not immediate. You have to heal. You have to heal, just like any surgery you're gonna have to, any major surgery you're gonna have to heal from before you get back into motion. But to say that because I did this, I can't do anything. I can't walk. I can't do air squats. I can't do lunges. Are you serious? That means you can't carry your baby. You can't carry groceries from the supermarket. You can't. You can't
carrying groceries.
You can't carry a suitcase. Then, if that's the case, it just sometimes when people hear things like that, they need to just stop and think. They need to just stop and think for a minute. Is this really practical? What I'm being told? If I'm being told that. It might just be an idea, but if the doctor told them that, is that really practical? So once I had a cesarean section, I can't lift anything heavy. Is that the case? I'm not saying to lift anything heavy like power lift, but maybe you got 2 bags of groceries that you have to take from the car to your apartment or to your house. Maybe you have some suitcases. Maybe you know what I'm saying? It's just not practical, and it doesn't make any sense, to be honest.
Okay, coach, this is very heavy subject that, a lot of people that escape from life and reality and, they just ran into a friend and, hey, buddy, just take this pill and all your miserable memories and all how you feel is going to change, either it's Xanax or I don't know what you call other pills, for selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
Oh, you mean
Antidepressants.
Antidepressants and the...
everything, the side effects, why does people take it? And once you take it, are you a normal guy anymore?
I'm not a doctor, number one. But I'm not a person that turns my brain on. And I'm a person that if someone close to me is diagnosed with a problem and they're subscribed with any medicine, usually I'm the guy that goes to look up what that medicine is and what it's the side effects. And a person has to ask the question, if I'm suffering from depression and a potential side effect of this pill is depression, or psychosis, or schizophrenia, or anything of that nature, why should I take the pill? Why would I take something that may put me in a worse position than I actually am. And I'm going to tell you why it's happening. And this is from personal experiences. Because nowadays, the shrink, counselor, psychologist, where you go in there and you talk out your problems, this doesn't happen that much anymore. You go into the doctor, they tell you how, you say, I'm feeling depressed, da 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 da. Oh, how was your life? They ask you a bunch of series of questions, and then they say, well, try this. And I will say some people do get better, but there's a whole lot of misdiagnosed people that are never the same after that. They actually lose their personality. Some cases it led to suicide. Some cases it led to a person just going crazy and killing their whole family, or going to work and killing everybody at work, or going to school and killing everybody at school. If you look at the mass shootings in America, if you read the article or read up on it, you see a lot of these cases are people that were on those medications. Personally, in my own personal life, I know some people, they were never the same. Never the same. Even the relationship wasn't the same. Even after they stopped the medicine. What people need to understand that if a person doesn't have a truly chemical imbalance or something, doing with the neurotransmitter or the electrical process in their head, and they get a medicine to kind of help that. If they don't have that and they're dealing with depression or anxiety or insomnia, these kind of things, then I'm not a doctor, but I just don't believe those medicines are the right ones for you. And this is what's happening. People that are having just issues in life. And really, the thing that's needed is the counseling. It's teaching people how to process what they aren't processing in life. Maybe somebody had a trauma or an incident in their life, and they didn't process it, meaning they didn't accept what happened, understand what happened, why it happened. It came from this direction because of what I reacted this way. How should I have reacted? How can I resolve the issue, and how can I recover and move on? That process doesn't happen for them. They're stuck. And they need help out of that. Pills are not gonna, in my opinion, what's commonly being happening, they don't solve the problem. They don't solve the problem. Like I say, I've seen people go to the point to where they're fake happy. They're like a zombie. I've seen that where you're never happy. You're not angry or sad. You're not happy or you're not happy or sad. You're not angry or amused. You're just like. Then I've seen the people where they are grinding their teeth, grinding their teeth, or they're making cringe moments. Cringe, when they're talking to you, they have these cringes in their lips. I've seen people have an extreme version of what they were going through before. Like, say, for people who are bipolar, highs and lows, extreme highs and lows. I've seen the people, when they got on the medicine, let them have a day off, miss a dosage. That high or that low is dangerous. I've seen it with my eyes. I've seen it. Miss a day or two of a dosage, and that when they go through the high and low, it's like a major thing, even sometimes dangerous. So it's my personal opinion. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all about the dollar. It's a big industry. Multi-billion-dollar, maybe multi-trillion-dollar industry. And at the end of the day, man, they don't care. If you're making multiple billions or multiple trillions, do you think you care about a few people who have bad reaction on the drugs? It's like people who love war. It's just a casualty of war. It's part of the game. For them, it's part of the game.
Okay, coach, we've been trapped, astaghfirullah, in these books, The Secrets, change your life, build yourself, and we left that what Islam told us, and the principle of faith and in Islam, and subhanallah, we've been trapped in these kind of books, and people really like giving their faith in these books, not in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Like I've told so many people, even you, we are living in a very unique time. I noticed it post 9/11. Post 9/11 was like the floodgates of information was open. All these ideas started to be just flushed into the society via documentaries, via YouTube, and all these other different platforms. And I think the effect of that, along with improper upbringing in the home, Islamic upbringing, where a family is solidly grounded from a knowledge point of view and a practice point of view of Islam on the general scale, okay? And I'm not talking about every family being, super religious or something like that. No. What I'm saying is being firmly grounded in knowledge and practice. Humans are going to make mistakes. Okay, so I just want to say that because people might think that I'm talking about extremes. No, I'm not talking about extremes. The basic fundamental principles of Islam, if you were to take randomly any country, let's say 10 families, random families from any country, you will find that the fundamental principles of Islam is not firmly grounded in each home. You'll see what's firmly grounded is culture and tradition and what we think we are supposed to do. By that allowed, in this era of information, to me, a lot of con artists who put out what I call spoon-fed information. Spoon-fed information requires you not to think. When someone tells you, especially to a Muslim, do this, this, and this, and you'll be successful. To me, that's spoon-fed information because it requires you not to think. Guys, we have to change our location, but we're just going to close this last question, which was
About the book, The Secret.
yeah. So in just closing up really short, the books like The Secret, all of these self-help books,
How to Get Rich.
all of these things. I'm just gonna say Islam is a complete religion. It's comprehensive, and I personally see that it's sad to see that people would put the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on their back and really go for these books. I'm not saying that there is no purpose for these books. You have to never turn your brain off. The Secret will destroy a Muslim. Okay, I'm not going to go into that now, but those kind of books like that, where they're giving you a spoon-fed information, and they're actually, if you like, in the case of The Secret, this book is actually cutting you off from the Creator. It's cutting you off from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't make dua to Allah to get what you want. Just whatever you think, you can will it to happen. And that's what's going to happen. And that will stop you from making dua. I'm going to stop from that, and we'll get back to you when we change locations.